Hey folks, so about 2 weeks ago, I believe, we did a streaming adventure on Twitch. We created a character together, and we went through an adventure in space adventure. And here's how that went. So we made a character called Dyzzy, D-Y-Y-D-Y-Z-Z-E. It's not how you spell that. It's D-Y-Y, I don't know. Female space pioneer. She's quite dexterous, quite intelligent, average strength, but really not charismatic. Wields a rocket wrench. I guess it's a wrench you can fire off as a rocket, which is also a lightsaber, of course. And her goal is to find the ultimate spaghetti recipe. Her fear is outdated technology, and her special ability, underneath her bandana is a third eye, and she can fire a black hole with it. So yeah, she wears rollerblades for some reason. She has a mechanical arm, tentacle hair. Dyzzy is floating around in her spherical spaceship. She's a space pioneer, so she flies around in space and she finds planets. And the planet is emitting a distress call, a distress signal. And she asks, who this, guys? Who this? And the distress signal says, help, there's a big monster attacking our colony. No, wait, our town. Help us defeat him. She thinks about it and she says, do you have any spaghetti? And they say, we have the best spaghetti in the universe. If you come help us, we'll give it to you. And she says, I need proof for that. Obviously, she needs proof for that. You know, anyone could claim that. But the signal kind of like breaks up and goes quiet. But she decides to go to the planet anyway, just to check it out and see if she could find anything interesting there. So she makes a perfect landing on a strange planet. Perfect, because obviously she's very intelligent, so she knows how to do it. She finds a destroyed city? Nah, more like a village. She finds a destroyed village. There's like, you know, broken down buildings, there's smoke coming from them, and there's a few bodies lying around. And she scans for life, and she finds that one of the bodies still has a life sign. And then she scans for death, and there's a lot of death in the town. Everyone's dead. She also scans for spaghetti, and she finds a spaghetti signal across the hills. So what's she gonna do? You know, is she gonna help out the little, you know, guy that's still alive, or is she gonna go for the spaghetti? No. Dyzzy is a very humane alien space pioneer, and she decides to help out the little guy. And she asks, you know, what happened? What happened to your town? And the little guy says, it's been attacked by our town has been attacked by a big squid monster. It's destroyed the whole town. What is Dyzzy gonna do? Is she gonna leave this guy behind, or is she gonna go and find the spaghetti recipe? She decides that she's gonna put the little guy in her spaceship to heal him up. Like her spaceship has like a medic bay, whatever you want to call it. And she puts him in the ship to heal up. You know, he's all bandaged and stuff. He's quite happy. She decides to leave him there. She closes the door and then decides to head over to the village. She heads over to the village and she loots the dead corpses, of course, as you do. And she finds a weird, strange-looking triangle gun thing and one strand of spaghetti, I guess. Strand? Yeah. So she decides to test out the gun because she doesn't know what the gun does. She tests out the gun on the spaghetti, and what happens is the spaghetti splits up into the base ingredients, which is, you know, wheat, a little bit of egg, a little bit of oil and salt. Proper quality spaghetti. She then decides to use the gun again on the little bit of egg that was there, but then the gun kind of just evaporates the egg, so it has limited uses. She also decides to shoot the ground, which does nothing, and then she decides to finally move up to the mountains and check out that spaghetti signal, leaving the little guy behind in the spaceship. So as she is following the signal, she finds this, I guess, like entrance in the mountain wall. There's an entrance and it's broken open. It's like busted, and she decides to scan for scary. And there's it's level 905 scary in there. It's very scary. She decides to go in anyway. She goes into the broken up, you know, the busted door, and she finds the big squid monster, and it's asleep in front of her. And what she decides to do is she decides to ask him if he's a relative. If she's mom and dad, you know, could be your dad. You haven't seen your dad in a long time. Could be. And the monster wakes up and turns around, and turns out it's your Uncle Zagron. Yeah, and Uncle Zegron, he's alright. Uncle Zegron was a really nice guy. He was like, got you like, gifts when he came over when you were a kid, and he's just a really nice fella. And he's not violent at all, which is kind of strange because, what about that attack on the town then, And he says that the little guys are actually evil, and the signal that they like, their distress signal is a fake one, and they lured your uncle to the planet like they did with you. And then when you look around, there's like an army of them at the door, accompanied by the little guy in your ship. And the little guy says, give us the location of your spaceship, big tentacle monster, and we'll let you go. Or we'll shoot you with our weird triangle guns. What's Dyzzy gonna do? Dyzzy then decides to go absolute ham on the guys with her lightsaber rocket wrench. Just completely slashes up the place. And then of course she has a catchphrase, as you do, and then your uncle's just standing there like, what the hell? And the guy's like, oh shit. And you decide to ask him politely to leave your ship. So you kind of try to be appealing, but you have a charisma of 1, so it sounds just pathetic. And he's like, oh, fuck you. You just killed my whole town. I mean, you just killed my whole town. Of course I'm not gonna give you my ship. Your ship. This ship. Goodbye. And he flies away in her ship. So what's she gonna do? I think it's time, guys. I think it's time for a black hole. She lifts up her bandana to reveal her third eye, which starts to emit this black stuff, and the stuff grows. She fires it off at the little guy in her ship, and engulfs it, and then crushes it into a single particle. That's how black holes work, right? Yeah, that's how they work. You go back to your uncle, and you ask him, what about that spaghetti? And he says, you mean this spaghetti? And this is the part where I had to speed up the stream a little bit because it was getting late. And you can have it, but, how are you going to make a recipe out of it? Like, it's already been made, so how are you going to figure out what it's made of? And she says, well, I have this weird triangle gun, and I can just split it up with the triangle gun and see what's inside. So she does that. She shoots the spaghetti with the triangle gun, and the spaghetti splits up into its base ingredients, some of which look a bit foreign, and foreign, probably like extraterrestrial. And she's like, how am I gonna figure out what all these ingredients are? But then she knows she has the scanner thing, so she scans all the ingredients with her scanner. And the scanner prints out this little, list of things, and she got a recipe basically, and she's really happy about it. And then her uncle says like, "Hey, let's go on my ship. Let's leave the planet." But then Dyzzy realizes that the ship is really old, like really old tech. It looks so shit. Like your ship is at least like 5 generations younger. She doesn't want to go in there. She really doesn't want to go in there, but she has to because she wants to tell the world about the spaghetti recipe. Some planets don't even have spaghetti, so that's on the line. That's all on the line, and she decides to get on the ship, and they fly off, and that's the end. So I hope you enjoyed that. We're doing these streams every now and then on Twitch. Follow us on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Pegbarians to get notified, or Twitter @Pegbarians, and we hope to see you there. Goodbye.